Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of MJ Everyday, a training-based episode for you guys today. Going to be showing you how to correctly use a pair of these TMJ apparel wrist wraps. Now, I see a lot of people using wrist wraps, but not wrapping correctly, so not getting the most out of their wrist wraps. So I firstly want to show you guys how to properly wrap with wrist wraps, and then talk to you a little bit about when you want to use wrist wraps and what they're going to allow you to do. So the first thing we want to do, we're going to take our TMJ apparel wrist wrap and we're going to slide our thumb through the thumb loop. Now, the first mistake that I see a lot of people make is they start the wrist wrap on the back side of their hand. So they'll wrap in this direction like this. That's incorrect. You want to make sure that as soon as your thumb goes through that thumb loop, that you start the wrap on your palm. So you start in this direction. Don't wrap backwards over your hand, wrap forwards over your palm. The second mistake a lot of people make is they'll wrap directly across the wrist like that. Now, that's not going to do anything to support your wrist, because your wrist can still move in this range of motion, it can move in this range of motion. You're not supporting anything. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you start above your wrist, and then you want to wrap the wrist wrap down and over the wrist joint like that, so that it covers from top to bottom straight over the wrist joint. And that's going to give you support through this range of motion and through this range of motion, and that's really what a wrist wrap is designed to do. So once you've secured your wrist wraps, once you've got your wrist wraps wrapped correctly, when do you want to use them? What sort of exercises do you want to use them for? Well, once you understand that what a wrist wrap is actually going to do is support the wrist through different ranges of motion and apply support to the wrist joint in those ranges of motion, you really want to be using wrist wraps in any exercise where there is going to be excess stress put on that wrist joint. So any type of heavy pressing movement, even any type of heavy curling movement or heavy tricep push down movement, any type of exercise where there's going to be a lot of stress through that wrist joint and you're putting that wrist joint under a lot of pressure, that's really where wrist wraps are going to be, more than anything, an injury prevention piece of apparel and a little bit of a psychological boost as well. You know that if you're minimizing your risk of injury in that heavy press or that heavy curl or that heavy push down, you don't have to worry about it. So you're going to be able to get your mind muscle connection better with the exercise, with the movement, and really push through. So it really is a piece of apparel that's more about injury prevention and gives you a little bit of psychological boost as well. But any exercise where you're putting excess stress, excess pressure through that wrist joint is where you want to use a pair of these bad boys, your TMJ apparel wrist wraps. Guys, that's a wrap for today's episode of MJ Everyday, how to correctly use wrist wraps. Link is down below in the description box if you want to pick yourself up a pair of these TMJ apparel wrist wraps, of course. And as always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn your post notifications on both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel. Until tomorrow, I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.